Hi everybody, this is Amber Buchanan with Sneak Peek, and today we interviewed actor Frankie Muniz and co-writer and producer Richard Hanley for the film The Black String. Tell me a little bit about your character.
I played a character named Jonathan, just a kind of normal guy, works at a convenience store night shifts, doesn't have many friends, doesn't have much going on in his life. I end up calling a 1-900 sex hotline or meet singles, and I end up meeting a woman who in turn, I think, infects me with some, I don't know what it is throughout the movie. So I'm trying to explain to everybody and find this person and find her again, but she's disappeared. But nobody believes me. Nobody believes me that it happened. So trying to prove that it did, while everyone else thinks I'm going crazy and I've got police and they're putting me in a psych ward because they think, so it's pretty crazy, but sorry, I talk a lot.
What drew you to this film?
Well, they sent me the script and I loved it. Like, I mean, I've read a lot of great scripts, but this one, I was so anxious. I didn't even want to finish the page to get to the next page. You know what I mean? Because it was just, I was so anxious to know what was going to happen next. And so I went in, I auditioned for them, and I loved the character, and I loved it, and so happy they chose me, and I've had a blast for sure.
What was the biggest challenge you faced?
I think the biggest challenge with this role, you know, you don't ever really film a movie in order. So trying to figure out, I think the first scene we filmed is one of like the biggest emotional breakdown scenes of the entire movie. So figuring out where that was going to be and then ramping it up, you know, figuring out like, okay, we're filming this. I haven't gotten here yet, so I need to be a little bit less crazy or less angry or, you know. So trying to figure that out was kind of difficult, but it was a challenge and it was fun.
What's your biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway, I don't know. I just, you know, we did this movie on an ultra low budget, and I've never been a part of anything with such a low budget, but it was like a family. Everybody worked quadruple what I've ever seen anybody work on a set because everybody wanted to make the best product they could, and it was really cool to be a part of like that small family. And you know, here we are at the Austin Film Festival about to premiere it, and we're thrilled with the end result. Like, I'm honestly, I love it. Like, I think everything turned out so great visually. Like, the cinematography is incredible. Like, you can tell me the budget was 500 times what we spent and I would believe you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So what advice would you give some aspiring filmmakers?
Just to, you know, keep going. There's obviously there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people trying to do the same thing, you know. And I don't want to say, obviously, a lot of it has to do with a skill and that and working on your craft. But a lot of it's luck. Like, just to be honest, it's about being in the right place at the right time. It's about the right person happen to read your script or, you know, give you the opportunity and taking advantage of those opportunities. And
oh, great. So I'm Richard Hanley. I'm a producer, co-writer, and actor in the movie. The inspiration came from Brian Hansen and his buddy from 10 years ago, Andy Warner. They were, you know, palling around and came up with this crazy tale, and they kind of developed it, and it sat on a shelf for about 7-8 years. Fast forward to Brian Hansen and myself in film school at Mount St. Mary's University, and we're like, you know what, we need to do a thesis film. Let's do this. And we thought we were going to shoot it on the weekends with our buddies, you know, for beer money and just kind of hang out and have a great time. Well, the script was pretty tight, and we worked really, really hard on it. We turned it in as a thesis, and we thought, you know what, let's develop this as a feature-length film. And that's exactly what we did. At the 12th hour, we were able to get Frankie Muniz in. He came in literally at the 12th hour. We were in callbacks. We had amazing actors from all over Los Angeles coming in to read for the role. And Frankie had 2 days with the script. He came in off book and crushed the audition. We're like, oh my gosh, we had amazing actors to choose from, amazing actors. And we're like, you got to go with Frankie. He's a marquee player. He's a true professional. He came in, he delivered. You're going to love the performance if you come and see the movie. It's unlike anything you've ever seen him do. He's amazing in it. So, yeah. Does that answer a lot of questions?
You mentioned you went to film school.
Yes.
What kept you motivated? Like, how'd you survive?
How'd I survive film school? Well, yeah, I work in medicine, I'm a doc, and so I was working while I was going to film school. Mount St. Mary's provided an opportunity for me to go to film school on the weekends. and do a lot of short films, a lot of short form. And I came into film school, the MFA, Master of Fine Arts from Mount St. Mary's, with the idea of, okay, I want to come out of here with something to produce that's at the feature-length level, and was looking for good people to work with. Brian Hansen and myself, the director, we were buddies. We're both military guys, and we had a lot in common. We had worked together on a number of shorts, and we're like, yeah, let's do this. We can do this. Let's make this happen. So film school was a lot of work. It was brutal, but man, it was a blast. It was like being a kid in a candy store. It was so much fun. And especially later in life, having gone through another career path, I'm like, man, it was just a blast all the way.
So, as a screenwriter, I know you do many parts on this film. What keeps you motivated when you're writing?
What keeps me motivated when I'm writing? Gosh, it really goes back to how much can you relate to the character. So you thrust yourself into the life of a character, and just there's something really enjoyable about just sitting down and just dealing with your own thoughts and the motivation of, I can take this story and this character in any direction that I want. It's like being a child. It's like making up. You're just making shit up, and you're putting it together in a way that makes cohesive sense. You're using your adult brain, the left brain, and your right brain is like, but there's no limits other than, okay, I have to write within the constraints of my budget or what I foresee this being shot for. But the motivation is kind of intrinsic to the process because it's just fun. It's just like being a kid. It's just you're a child. It's like, hey, let's play a fairy tale and make some stories up. So, there's craft involved, obviously. A lot of craft, and that takes time to develop, and we're always in full, trying to further that development. But it's easy to stay motivated, I guess. And there's the dogmatic approach of sitting down and like, okay, I got to put in a certain amount of time during the day, and you got to put the time in. It doesn't get done automatically, and you can't say, well, I'll put 4 hours in this week. No, you got to sit down and you can't wait for the muse. You have to work it. You have to work it. And that's important.
When you have a cast and crew as passionate as they are, you're not going to want to miss The Black String. I'm Buchanan with Sneak Peek, and thank you for watching.